All right, so we should be live. So, hello everyone who is joining live, and hello everyone who is watching the replay as well. Thanks for showing up. So, today we're going to be working inside of Fresco. So, I've been doing a lot of Adobe Animate stuff the past, month and a half, 2 months. And this is going to be my last scheduled live stream of the year. So I'll pick it back up in January, but this will be it for 2020. And I figured, why not just have some fun with Fresco as we get into this. So what I'm going to do is make like a snowy scene. And I've got a couple of small ideas so far. I'm not sure if they're going to work out or not, but that's part of what we have going on here, right? So let's see, I've got a new document here, and it's sort of a custom 1500 by 1500. Sometimes I like working in sort of like a square kind of space, instead of, the screen or any of the other type of spaces that we might have. And oops, didn't mean to do that quite yet. So one thing that I saw yesterday was that the winter brushes from Adobe were released. And I added those just a few minutes ago to this to my iPad here to Fresco. And in case you don't know how to do that, you just go into your pixel brushes right here, and you click the little plus button, and this is going to allow you to either go discover new brushes or to import from files. So I basically saved the ABR file down to my Creative Cloud. And it'll automatically sync to my iPad, and then I can just browse to my Creative Cloud on the iPad and bring those brushes in. So if we look down here, under library brushes, we've got, let's see, Winter 2020 right here. There's 36 brushes. And I haven't really looked at these at all yet. So this will be kind of fun to go through and have a look at them. You can see a lot of them look like they have some texture in them in terms of like snowflakes and kind of little bits and pieces like that here and there. So what I want to do is, let's see, let's go ahead and find something nice, and let's do this. Iberia large. That looks pretty nice. I assume that's what the L stands for, is large. Oh, interesting. So this is a neat little texture there. I'm going to want it blue. Just a light blue. Basically what I'm doing here is creating a bit of a background here. So let's see how that looks. I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Let's choose a different brush here. This one, Fidget. Cardigan Budapest. Let's see how that one looks. That's a little more interesting. All right. So it looks like a lot of these are pattern type brushes that we're dealing with here. So let's go ahead and just start with one. I'm going to maybe go with, gosh, I don't know. I'm not super pleased with these. That's a little nicer. That's a little nicer there. Let's pull that up. And we'll use this to start things out. I want it to be a little subtle. And what we're going to do is just sort of just create something for background where whatever it is I create is going to live, right? So we've got just this basic way of doing this here. And pull that down a bit. Let's change the color a little. Get some variance in here. I tell you, I'm not going to miss some of this stuff. Hello, William. Thanks for joining today. Hopefully everything's going well for you. And for everybody else who's joining as well. These last few weeks of 2020. I remember looking forward to this year. At the end of last year, I was like, you know, because 2019 was a bit of madness for me. It was really something else. And I was so looking forward to 2020. It just seemed like, you know, 2020, you know, things would kind of get back on track in a lot of different ways. But instead, we have what we have here, right? Which, you know, could be worse, but could be worse. Now this brush is pretty cool. It's a Frosty Brush. That's what it says. Oh, I see how it's working, yeah. Yeah, these are all basically pattern type brushes, which is fine. But, I don't know. I'm not necessarily looking for pattern type brushes here, right? So maybe I'll switch over to these Keith Haring brushes, which I always kind of like a bit. How's the stream looking here? It's looking pretty stable today. So something I'm doing a little different today is usually any kind of streaming stuff I do, I'll usually use my MacBook Pro for that. And my Windows machine I use primarily for recording. And my MacBook Pro, I've got a bunch of stuff going on with it right now. So I decided to just kind of fire this up today and do it on my Windows machine. So I'm actually using my Windows machine to do this live stream today. Even though I'm doing it on an iPad, you know. Hey Lisa, how are you? Thanks for showing up. It's funny, I noticed, you know, I create a graphic, you know, to be used for promotion and everything week to week for these streams when I get the idea to what I want to do and so forth. And the one that I sent over this week, actually, I'm using the wrong app icon. I've been doing so much animate that I just used the animate icon instead of the Fresco icon, which is my bad, but I don't think people will mind. So I hope everybody is gearing up for end of the year here. I wonder, let's see. It's so hard to see the stats on this sometimes as the live stream's going on. Everything's looking good though. I'm not getting any warnings about my network connection or anything bad like that. So that's perfect. Yeah, it's almost, you almost don't want to be looking forward to 2021. It's because so many people were looking forward to 2020, myself included. It just didn't turn out like we expected it would. Oh well, right? Try again next year. That's funny. So this started out as snow. And then it turned into the beginnings of a skull in the snow. And now I'm kind of thinking, why not make it something completely different altogether? I think I'm going to go a bit more abstract with this. Which I always like doing. Because it's a lot more freeform. You know, when you don't have any particular idea in mind. And you just kind of seeing how things evolve as you place stuff down, right? It's pretty good. Sounds like a cat. We'll eventually put some snow on the skull too. It'll happen. But right now, I'm just sort of trying to get the feel from this thing. Thing is like I might not talk too much during this stream because, you know, it's the end of the semester and I'm so tired of talking when I'm showing things and teaching and so forth. Hey, Georgina, how are you today? This is an odd time for you, huh? You don't usually, not usually around when I do these in the daytime like this. You know, let's see. Georgina, are you streaming tomorrow night or tonight? Or maybe you're done for the year. Yeah. I know. I tried to stay up for yours last week and I had the wrong night. Yeah, these are working out a lot better than those winter brushes did. But you know, whatever. All right, Thursday night. So tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Pacific, Georgina is going to be streaming. So if anybody is up around then, you know, 10 Pacific, you know that it's like 11 o'clock Mountain Time, so it's a little late. But you know, I make them every once in a while. But for other time zones, it might work out really well. So anybody else who's watching this, check out Georgina's streams. Is this going to be your last one of the year, Georgina? Yeah, this is my last one. And then I'm taking a break, at least for scheduled stuff. I don't know. I mean, if I've got a million things to do over the break, of course, but you know, if I feel like just getting on and doing something, I might just do that. But it wouldn't be anything scheduled. Gosh, I'm just thinking this semester is just such a test for everybody. Like the students had it rough. It's been difficult juggling everything and doing everything like this for myself. And it's nice that it's pretty much over at this point. Non-stop streaming, huh? I don't know. So some things I've mentioned on this stream a couple of times that I've been working on a new book around Adobe Animate, And I've just been, it's sort of like an escape to just work on it. So I've been really just working on it way too much, way too hard. I just need to take a little time maybe to kind of do some other stuff. And luckily, I've got a couple other things going on too. So switching gears and having the ability to switch gears like that and play with different projects is always pretty fun. And sometimes pretty necessary. All right, killer. I think what I'm going to do now is actually fill this in. So I'm going to go back down to this layer here, add another one right underneath. And let's choose something that's a bit kind of yellowed looking, right? Something like that. And make sure I got the right layer selected, and then I'm just gonna wash that all over here. Just fill that in nice. Nice. So now we need some more snow. I want some snow and I want some twigs. And let's put that on a different layer too. Yeah, I mean, one of the best things really about let's save that. Boom. So if you don't know, there's a save now thing inside of Fresco. I don't know if that's new or if I just stumbled upon it in the last few weeks, but save now gives me a bit more confidence than the auto save does. What am I looking forward to the most over the holiday? Just, I mean, I know it doesn't matter necessarily, but just seeing, you know, the numbers tick over. So seeing 2021 instead of 2020. We're talking a little before about how the year started and people were like really hopeful for everything that was going on, and you know, it just all went awry, unfortunately. What do we have here? All right. So I need some other stuff in the background here because it's very white. And yeah, I want snow. So it's like I named this, you know, snow in animate, or did it again in Fresco. But the only snow I have is just implied right now, really. I mean, the blue stuff is supposed to be snow. It's a little too blue. And the white around it is implied snow. I don't know if you, like, you know, in fresh snow, sort of like at night, moonlight, you know, you could be walking around and, you know, the snow almost does sometimes look blue. To me, anyway. We actually have a little bit of snow here in Colorado right now. Just a little bit left over. It's been snowing on and off. Every couple days we get a few inches. Yeah. All right, I need something dark for this background here. So I'm gonna go way back there. I'm gonna pull this down. I want it to be maybe like a dark blue violet kind of thing. Let's grab a different brush too. this one out. That's one of the great things about Fresco, of course. You can try stuff out, and if it doesn't work, then get rid of it, right? This works. That looked really good. So there's one thing here, though, that I don't quite like, and that's this junk around the skull here. I'm going to clean that up a bit. And I don't know, which layer is that on, I wonder? Yeah. Yeah, it's on that layer right there. That's what I figured. So let's grab my eraser. And let's make it gritty. We'll just get rid of some of those. Oops, go back. So actually some of these are inside that layer. There we go. Just a little bit of spillover. And that's a bit better. Actually, let's get rid of some of that too. One of the things that's great about Fresco is that you can just erase stuff, right? There you go. Yeah, I want a little bit of that stuff, you know, a little bit of that texture there, like coming off of it, but not like so much that it's sort of, you know, sort of too distracting, I guess. I do not want to use my eraser. I don't know what the heck I'm doing there. There we go. Don't want to do that. And that's way too big. Let's undo that. That's something else that's fun too is, you know, you can probably, does it show up? Let me do a test. Oh yeah, it does show up. So you can see right there, and I'm going to undo this, but I get like the little preview of my brush right there as I'm going around. It's something I had to turn on, but I do like that quite a bit. I like being able to kind of see my brush as I'm brushing things. Whereas if you don't turn that on, of course, you are going to be a little more blind to it. So what I like about this skull is that it's like, you know, it's not really a human skull. It's some kind of bizarre skull. And you can think about, you know, going out into the woods in the snow and just like finding something like that, you know? I remember I used to go to the beach. So I'm from Massachusetts originally, so we would go to the beach in New Hampshire usually, that area. It's kind of like where Massachusetts and New Hampshire come together. Like Salisbury Beach, Hampton Beach, that sort of area. And one of the things that I always enjoyed as a little kid was like walking around and finding, like you'd find skeletons of fish, different types of fish all over the place, you know? And I used to always wonder, like, you know, is this really a fish skeleton or is it like some kind of like, you know, weird creature that washed up and this is its skeleton, right? So that was always fun, thinking stuff like that. Yeah, Massachusetts can be spooky. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Actually, that's one thing that I always do for my students as a project introduction, as like a sample project, like a demo. Um, Back where I live, there's like this little cemetery called Spider Gates, and it has all this sort of like folklore around it and urban legends and things like that. And when we hit premiere, I have them, narrate and put together like a little, like a 1 minute kind of documentary, informative kind of video around some sort of urban legend or conspiracy theory or folklore from wherever they're from. It's pretty fun. Oh, I love Doc Martens. Usually, the last pair I had, the soles like completely quit out like way too early on them, and I was sad about it. But normally, I like Doc Martens a lot too, Georgina. All right, so let's go ahead. We got our. I want to put some snow on the top of the skull, for sure, and I do want a little twig here. So if I keep talking about spider gates and stuff like that, I'm never going to get around to it. So let's get some nice brown here. And felt tip small might work. And gosh, let's see, just coming up out of the snow. Just little bits and pieces here. It's pretty good. I'm going to put in a little bit of a shadow too, though, for each of these. Just kind of. So they don't look like they're just sort of, popping out of nowhere there. Cool. So now we need some snow, and for that, I want another layer. So, gosh. It's funny. I actually kind of like these sort of freeform streams more than I often do, like, stuff that I'm actually like actively trying to do. It sometimes comes out a bit more fun. I don't know. All right, so let's find some brush for snow. And I'm thinking some of these might work because we got like the spray paint, right? Spray paint 1, 2, and 3. Let's choose number 1 here. And we're talking snow, but I am going to put a little bit of blue. We can do a little blue and a little white. Oh, look at that. That looks like snow, right? Let's see. Thinking about this. Let's also add some snow. Little snow clusters here and there around the skull. Whoa, hey guy. Not that big. All right. And this is going to be sort of like the sort of the underlying parts of the snow right here. Sort of blue. Make that a little more white. And of course, the cool thing about putting this snow on a different layer is that if it looks absolutely terrible, I can remove it and it just doesn't exist anymore. I always like to give stuff a chance. It's like initially I'm kind of like, I don't know about this. But again, it's not hurting anything. I'm not quite sold on this quite yet. There are always blend modes as well that we could look at. So if something doesn't look quite right, sometimes a blend mode will help. Spatter Brush. Yeah. I know sometimes at the end of something, when I'm doing something, or at the beginning too, like to do like a background, just like some kind of random texture, or an effect at the end, I'll often use some kind of a brush to do stuff like that. It's fun. All right, let's go and have a look at my opacity here. You can see, whoop, go a little snow, and then there isn't. You can do a nice time lapse, right? Let's see. Nope. So I just want something that's gonna just seed it just like a little bit more than it currently is seeded, right? And see, I could do a combo here. I could do something like this overlay and then add some more in another layer. Lighter color might work. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I don't know. I like it though too at the same time. It's like, I don't know. Let's take it down a little bit. And yeah, let's keep it like this, and I'm gonna add another layer. And again, save now. Because I'm always pretty careful about that. And then we can add in some more. Let's go back here. This is just kind of adding like a little bit of frost, like a frozen kind of feel to it. Actually, maybe some of those winter brushes I was using at the beginning would work a lot better at this. This makes it look like, so it's not so much of a hat, right? It's more integrated. This is making me feel a lot better about it. That looks so much better than it did before. Oh, hello. Is it Rami or Romy? Welcome. General tips. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton of tips really. Just, it sounds like super cliche, right? Just do it. But really, I mean, that is the best way to just kind of like learn your way around anything. I think is really exactly that. So just get in there. Just start messing with stuff, And then you tend to figure out, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and all the rest. Yeah, so I'm just adding some more of this frost. Oops, that's a little too much. Yeah, so in terms of tips, we were saying before, don't be afraid to use that undo. When you're going through stuff like this. Add a little texture under there. Gosh, I cannot believe the semester is finished. It's amazing. And, I mean, probably like everybody says this, but, it's, I think generally people don't understand how exhausting it is to teach. And Georgina, you're still here. You, I'm sure, would agree with that. It can be just exhausting because you have to be on all the time, and you have to be always concerned about things like, fairness, but also being considerate of like what other people are going through. And it goes so far beyond just, the stuff you would normally think about where it's like, oh yeah, teach them how to do X, Y, or Z. And, I teach university, so, I mean, they're basically adults, But, still, they're little adults. So, All right, I am liking how the snow came out. That looks really nice. Oh boy, what else? So here's the thing too, like you got to be careful. When you're working on something like this, there's always like that point, right? Like that point where it's like you just push it a little too far, You're just trying to like perfect it a little too much or just add a little more detail, and it just sort of, there's always the point where it's like, all right, that's wasn't necessary, that's too much now. And I think I'm getting close. Undo, undo. Because now as I'm starting to put stuff in here, I'm like, you know, I don't know. Do I really need that right there? I don't know. It's like the easiest way to ruin something, right? It's just to overwork it. It's just like with, you know, with like cooking. Like making bread or something. Like you overwork the bread dough and you broke it, right? You broke it. It's not going to work right. It's not going to be as airy or as nice as it would have been otherwise. And I mean, the thing is, like, when you look back on it, you're like, you know, I knew better than to do that. You know, I knew I should have stopped at a certain point, and I didn't do it. And now I'm left with, you know, something that's less than what it could be. Yeah. So let's I'm trying to remember where these oh, there they are. I put them there. Okay, that's fine. Right on. Yeah, I mean, one of the good ways of just showing, you know, the stuff you're working on, showing your creativity is just, you know, posting it out there, like using Behance, Twitter, LinkedIn, you know. I'd used to recommend Facebook for stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if it's that useful for this sort of thing anymore. It's sort of gone its own way. It's more difficult to use as a platform for something like creativity. And gee, there's just a couple more things I gotta do here. Just roughen this up a little bit. Gosh, so much of this comes down to just like these little details and just kind of like getting them right, you know. I'm glad I used that blue initially, though. I think that works well, and it works well against the, you know, the nice kind of thick paint I used in the background there. It's pretty good. All right. Let's go ahead and save that. I'm pretty happy about this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and publish this immediately to Behance. That's how committed I am to it. So I'm going to go ahead, publish and export. There it is. That's Behance project. And then here it goes. Woo! Up to Behance. Publish. Let's go for it. And it's publishing as I'm streaming. So it's probably going to take a minute or so to get this up there. There we go. Your work is live. So talking about sharing stuff, sharing creativity. You know, I do think Behance is probably, I mean, obviously we're live streaming on Behance here, so I think it's a good choice. And yeah, I'd definitely say you're going to get more like-minded people, helpful people on something like Behance than you would on a lot of social platforms, you know. And they all have their weird little quirks, right? So, like, I don't want to get into it because I can't say anything bad about, like, LinkedIn because I publish for them. And I can't say bad things about Behance because obviously I'm doing Behance stuff. And Twitter I could say bad things about. But Facebook I could definitely say bad things about. I use all of them, all the ones I mentioned. But for certain ones, I would say definitely, like, if you use something like Twitter or Facebook, you know, muted words, muted people, and things like that can help make the platforms more tolerable and more useful. So something like, you know, Twitter, you know, if you don't put muted words in to your settings, you're just going to get like this just flow of stuff from people that are saying things or retweeting things or whatever. There's a couple words you can mute on there, and it's going to clean stuff up real nice for you. So that's my that's my best advice of the day right there. Take advantage of filters and muted words and things like that on any of the social platforms that allow you to do so. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for showing up and watching me draw this weird thing in Fresco. So going back here, I don't think William's here anymore, but thanks, William, Lisa, Georgina, and down at the bottom here, Rami. And I hope I'm saying that right. Right on. Oh, Instagram too. Yeah, no, I use Instagram as well. Yeah, I think Instagram's pretty good. Except I've noticed a lot lately when I'm using Instagram that it's like 50% ads. It's like 50% like just promoted stuff. It's not like people that I follow necessarily. It's just like random stuff, which is a shame because I do think Instagram is like really good for sharing something like this. And you can see, I mean, this painting here I made in a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's perfect for Instagram, right? Maybe I'll put it on Instagram after this too. And that's the thing too, like any of this stuff you can put on multiple platforms and, you know, interact with people on, you know, all sorts of different networks. Anyway, I am going to call it. It's been about an hour, so that's pretty good. Nice stream to wrap up 2020. And I hope everybody has a good holiday season and a nice new year. And I'll see everybody in the new year when we get back to it. But in the meantime, I hope everybody rests up. And I hope I get to rest up a bit because I need it. As I'm sure a lot of people do. All right. For those watching the recording, of course, thank you for taking the time. And, you know, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or anything. We're talking about social networks. Always happy to hear from people. So right on, I'm gonna close it at that. Again, thanks everyone, and have a nice remainder of your year.